We want our kids just to be kids running around and, hey, eating too much sugar. To laugh with the friends that we wish we saw more often. To find solace in the arms of people who see us for who we are. To celebrate the beauty and the resilience of this community.
Now, I don't know about you, but in my lifetime so far, I have never seen one cause or one group be celebrated and pushed as much as this LGBTQ alphabet community. I've never, ever seen it. I didn't think I'd ever see it. But you heard Dr. Jill. They just want our kids to be kids. Well, let's get one thing straight. My kids are not your kids, or as they like to say, everybody's children are all our children. Well, I'm going to have to disagree with that respectfully because that will never be the case. But they went on and had their big Pride Month kickoff celebration at the White House, and they had hundreds of people, and they had music and fun and games, and that's all well and good. You can celebrate anything you want whenever you want because that's your God-given right. But when you're pushing a certain issue on every single American citizen, that is outright wrong. Okay? You can celebrate, you can push, you can get involved with them, but we all don't have to go along with it and agree.
We're gathered here today to honor the extraordinary, and I'm not being solicitous, the extraordinary courage and contribution of the LGBTQ community to celebrate their legacy and their progress. We welcome to the largest Pride Month celebration ever held at the White House, but just the beginning. But for all the progress we made, we know real change and real challenges still remain. When a person can be married in the morning and thrown out of a restaurant for being gay in the afternoon, something is still very wrong in America. That's why the Congress must pass and send me the Equality Act to codify protections for the LGBT community. Send a message to the entire community, especially to transgender children. You are loved. You are heard. You are understood. And you belong.
And they want to celebrate the courage and resilience of this community. Because after all, they're so brave. And I don't understand what makes it so brave. If you are a man or a woman and you want to call yourself the opposite, that's on you. Why is that brave? Have these people gone off to war and fought for our country? Are they preparing to go to war and fight for our country? Why is it that everything about this group is so brave and they're so courageous? I define brave and courageous as someone who willingly enlists in the military and goes off to war to fight for our country, someone who becomes a police officer or a firefighter and puts their life on the line for their community every single day. That's brave and that's courageous. Being gay is being gay. There's nothing wrong with that. Why all of a sudden is it brave and courageous to be gay? I'm 58 years old. I've known gay people most of my adult life, and they're all normal people. They're police officers, they're firefighters, they're everyday people just living their life. They don't want to be celebrated and called brave and courageous for who they are. That's how they live. That's their life. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you cannot get that through the heads of this community. You cannot get it through the head of Biden, which quite frankly, you can't get anything through his head. They're having this big, big celebration. Okay, have it. But why? Why is it brave and courageous? They talk about all the violence against this community, all the hate, all the bigotry. And quite frankly, I don't believe that to be true. Yes, we've had mass shootings in gay clubs, but we've also had mass shootings in schools, in malls, in parks, in supermarkets. All of those people were American citizens. Just because they were in a gay club and they were unfortunately gunned down by a lunatic, why does that make them different than the other people who lost their lives at the hands of a lunatic? Why celebrate, for instance, the Pulse nightclub or Club Q? Why celebrate their lives more than the people who were lost in Parkland or Uvalde or I can't even think of another one right now, quite frankly, because there were so many. Aren't they all American citizens? They're pushing this movement on all of us because they say that these people are not equal. Well, aren't we all equal under the Constitution of the United States? Don't we all have the same rights? I talked about this in my last video, a couple of videos ago, that we all, as American citizens, have rights. Unfortunately, this administration wants to, in my view, take some of our rights away, like free speech. We're not supposed to have an opinion. We're just supposed to go along and give in. I don't agree with that. And I get that they have their flag and they fly it proudly. And God love you. Knock yourself out. You can have your flag. You can have your colors, or whatever you choose to call it. There's one flag that represents America, that represents every single American citizen. And that is the United States of America flag, the Star-Spangled Banner. But when you want to replace that during Pride Month with your pride flag, that's wrong, because the pride flag doesn't represent the entire United States. It represents a certain group that everybody's supposed to celebrate. Why can't we all just celebrate under the Star-Spangled Banner? Why can't we all just be American citizens? And why is the President of the United States so insistent on pushing this movement when our country is in turmoil? We're sending billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight a war. The homelessness problem in our country is through the roof, off the charts. But they'd rather celebrate the LGBTQ and allow illegal migrants to flow over our borders daily, and we're supposed to be okay with that. No one that I know is against anyone who's gay or lesbian or trans. I don't know, I sound like a broken record sometimes, but when are people just going to understand that we all don't have to get involved in somebody else's cause? We all don't have to clap for them and celebrate them. We can be friends with them. We can be co-workers with them. But we don't have to go along with their crusade to their so-called equality. Biden wants Congress to pass the Equality Act. What is the Equality Act? Aren't we all equal? Aren't we all human beings? And don't we all have the same rights as everybody else? And yes, I would imagine that there's some people who may be discriminated against because of who they are or who they claim to be, Maybe they didn't get a job because of it. Maybe they didn't get that apartment they wanted because of it. But why is that every single American citizen's fault? The fault of a few should not be the fault of everyone. But the Democratic politicians today, the left-wing progressives, liberals, whatever we want to call them, they just don't get that. They're not happy unless they're pushing a certain agenda down everyone's throat every chance they get, and they won't be happy until everyone goes along with it. Well, I, for one, could care less. I've said this a million times, and I'm sorry to keep saying it, but when are they going to get it? That let people be who they are. No one is being violent against transgender people. Nobody I know. And yes, it has happened. But that's because, in my view, they're out there so much pushing and shoving this agenda at everybody every chance they get. If you misgender someone or use the wrong pronoun, they fly into a rage. That's okay, because you are you, and that person who misgendered you maybe just doesn't go along with it. And they're not doing it purposely. They're doing it because they don't believe. And it has nothing to do with hate. It has nothing to do with bigotry. It has nothing to do with being an extremist or a MAGA Republican, as the Democrats like to say. It's all because everyone has the same right to free speech under the Constitution of the United States. And until this Democratic Party and this administration realizes that, we will always be separate. They are not the party of unity. They do not want racial harmony. They want racial separation, and they want certain groups of people to mean more than everybody else. That's what this is. They're pushing this movement because they want this group, the LGBTQ alphabet group, they want them to mean more and have more than everybody else. And that is so wrong in so many ways. That's why this country's so divided, and that's why it will always be divided until they stop this nonsense. Let them go do what they want. No one cares. Let us do what we want. They don't have to like it. We don't have to like what they do. And I always throw this in, and I'm going to throw it in again before I end this. Leave the kids alone. Like Jill Biden said in the beginning, we just want our kids to be kids. Well, they're not letting kids be kids because they want to teach this in schools, and it's wrong. A third grader doesn't need to know about gender identity or you can be something else if you choose. No, a third grader needs to learn about writing and arithmetic and just getting along and being a kid. They don't need to learn all this LGBTQ stuff. But that's the problem with the Democrats. They don't see a problem with it, and they want to treat everyone's kids like their own. And that's not the case, and that never will be the case. So wake up, America. See what they're doing, and it needs to stop. Everybody has their own life to live, and they have the right to live it however they want to. And when the Democrats learn that, then our country may be on the path to success again. Our country may be recognized as the most powerful and best country in the world. But right now, with this agenda they're pushing, the world is laughing at us. They're laughing at us because of the guy sitting in the White House, and they're laughing at us because of the push that congressional Democrats and every other Democrat in this country are shoving down everyone's throat. And it's wrong. And one more time, that's not hate, that's not bigotry, and that's not being extreme. It's being an American citizen who proudly flies the American flag that everyone lives under. There's not a separate flag for every person. It's one nation under God. Remember that? That's how this country needs to live. And the Democrats need to learn that. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. Share this video with someone. I'd appreciate that. And I hope everybody's healthy and safe. And I'll see you soon with something else.